when you message someone's late, it's the equivalent of us like having a conversation. So like if I'm chatting to you, right, and then we're talking, and then if you're saying something to me, I just suddenly go.
I was gonna say, just like head out, just walk out the door. Yeah, I get it.
Oh yeah, Nooks, you're right. You good, yeah? What happened? We good? What's going on, everybody, and welcome to 30 Years and Running. I'll be your host, Christian, and each week my friends and I will be looking at life seen through the eyes of 30-somethings. Whether it's things like dating, social media, or mental health, we'll be looking at the past, present, and future of being in your 30s. Funny enough, it wasn't until I was at Box Party the other week with Chris, and he mentioned the 30th, and I was like, oh shit, I didn't actually realise that, but anyway.
Yeah, no, that still worked out well.
Yeah.
Do you want to get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah.
Welcome to 30 Years.
Why has that made you laugh?
Because you're like, oh shit.
No, I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
Sure?
Let's go.
All right. Welcome to 30 Years and Running. I've got my boy, Nooky. Motherfucking G. What's going on, Nooky?
What's good, G?
How are you?
Salute. Yeah, no, I'm good. Obviously, merry.
Hello.
What have you put in my drink, bro?
So, for disclosure, we've had a couple rum and gingers, so
Yeah, well, that was
feeling a little light on our feet.
Do you know what? I feel like this one's a little strong, though, bro.
Joke is, I poured a fair bit out of it as well, so you should be good. Hopefully,
Yeah?
you'll be good.
For the remainder of the night, yeah, that's.
I hope
pretty
so.
much, yeah,
You'll be
okay,
fine. You're good. So today, I'm not gonna lie. There's no neat segue into this. I'm gonna get straight to it. We're gonna be talking about my pet peeves today, and two in particular. So one is about ghosting,
Yeah.
and one is around replying back late to messages.
When you say ghosting,
Yeah, so let's get some definitions out of the way, I suppose.
say.
So ghosting to me is when you're talking to someone. It doesn't have to be on a dating app. It's just talking to someone on WhatsApp or whatever, and all of a sudden they stop speaking to you. You can't get hold of them, and you don't get any closure or reason as to why they've stopped speaking to you. So that's ghosting. And then when I'm talking about messaging late replies, so this for me, I think it's around consistently messaging someone late. And when I talk about late, let's say for sake of argument, I don't know, let's say a couple hours or something like that, late replying. And don't get me wrong, like you're never ever going to reply back to someone on time all the time because, you know, people have got stuff to do. But why are you looking at me?
No.
Yeah.
Take it in.
But the problem lies for me is when you're constantly replying back to someone late. And like I say, that's a big pet peeve for me, and it's a big bugbear for me. So rather than kind of complaining about it internally to myself, I thought, why don't I talk about it with you?
Yeah, let's discuss it openly to figure out, you know, if it's something that you're dealing with on your own. I get it.
So let's start with messaging late first, actually, because I think ghosting is less, weirdly, I think it's less of an issue for me, but the late messages is something that.
Okay, so when you say
really
you say late messages, though, how late are we talking?
Well, it depends. Like I say, I think it's like a couple hours or something.
Couple hours. Okay,
Yeah.
so
But context is key, right? Like, say for example, you're planning to go out somewhere with someone.
Yeah.
And this isn't but before you start, this isn't me taking a shot at you or anything like that.
Nah.
But I'm just saying,
I'm quite good at this, but
yeah,
go on.
But say if you're like meeting someone, and so it's like a timely thing, and if someone's replying back, so late in this instance could be 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, basically.
Yeah.
But I think I'm generally speaking around a late text for me is like a couple hours late. I've had it before where it's been like half a day. I've had it where people haven't replied back for days.
Yo, if they take half a day, they don't want to come.
Bruv, listen, I'm going to give you an example now. Someone who I know messaged me 9 months after I messaged her first.
Oh, come on now.
Literally, and they popped up. This is another thing, right? They popped up, right? And they said, sorry, I've only just seen this. And
did they get a new phone? What?
I don't, regardless, I just think that one of the worst bits about people messaging, or some people messaging back late, right, is they almost act like nothing's happened.
Yeah.
Like,
Sorry about that.
yeah, literally. And the thing about it is, like for me, it's almost like maybe this is to do more with ghosting, but when you message someone's late, it's the equivalent of us like having a conversation. So like if I'm chatting to you, right, and then we're talking, and then if you're saying something to me, I just suddenly go.
I was gonna say, just like head out, just walk out the door. Yeah, I get it.
Oh yeah, Nooks, you're right. You good? Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened? We good?
Yeah, no.
So
we're
yeah,
good.
so it's like the equivalent of like you having a conversation with someone physically, and then all of a sudden, for no reason, they don't give you any kind of warning that they're about to leave.
Yeah.
And they just leave.
Yeah. Is it? I mean, so those people that if they do that, yeah, is this like on a dating level? Or is it just like friends or whatever? What's the?
I think it's both, but
What's your-
I've seen it more on a dating level, and I think that's naturally due to the fact that I've been on dating apps.
Yeah.
And I suppose part of the problem with dating apps and I suppose just social media more generally is it gives people somewhere to hide.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I suppose rightly or wrongly, probably more rightly, like people don't feel obligated to, reply back to someone on time when they don't know them.
Yeah.
Which I get, but at the same time, maybe I'm naive about it, but I just think,
But that's the way that it's become now. Like obviously, the internet has, or social media, internet, everything. Like it's allowed for people to be able to communicate quite quickly. Obviously with your phone as well, like text messages, WhatsApp. You can send a message, leave it. Send a message, leave it. Send the message, leave it. Sorry. So you're always gonna have that ability to just walk away and not worry too much about it. And when people have that luxury, they probably take advantage of it and think that they don't need to really pay too much attention to people in that way.
Yeah. But I also think, especially social media as well, it has created a culture where it's almost cool to be like cruel or like cool to be.
Mate, have you seen sometimes like when you go onto like certain meme pages or like even so I've seen like a few videos on YouTube. It's like there'll be like a sort of compilation of like Reddit posts where they're showing like nice guys and it's basically just like guys being aired or just ignored or whatever, or just like trying to reach out to girls and stuff, and they get parred or they get like completely buoyed. And it's funny, this stuff gets like put out there as like memes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And I don't know if you remember, but on the mental health episode, we were talking about how social media has helped to memify like dumb shit. I think in that instance we were talking about like poking fun at Will Smith and the situation he was going with Jada. And likewise, I think with replying back late and ghosting people, again, it's another case of us memifying something which actually is not a cool thing to do, I guess, and it's not a very nice thing to do. And like I say, with the dating apps, I appreciate that you don't kind of know somebody and you don't owe them a reply straight away. But again, it goes back to my point around like literally just almost like glorifying not being nice to someone. Yeah. But that's the society that we live in now. Like
there was a time where like I'd see that where even with like people that I'd followed or just like people just like bring awareness to it, where basically like a girl might just basically like, I mean, I think probably guys would probably do it too, but like usually like a girl would show like just a flurry of messages of a guy's going, hey, hey, you there? Hey. Like, and it's just like, okay, cool. So this guy obviously he's trying to reach out to you. He's getting a bit excessive with it. Maybe just a quick message to say like, I'm not interested, like go away. But at the same time, it's just like, all right, cool. Why do you feel the need to basically expose this guy?
Yeah. I think that's
on social media.
Yeah, that's a little bit different because they don't know the person.
Oh no! Sometimes they know them.
Oh really?
Sometimes they know them. Yeah, no, like it could be someone that they've given their number to, and they.
All right, fair enough. Well, if that's the case, then I don't understand why you wouldn't just reply back to them and say, "Look, I'm not interested." Like, just try and that's how you end the conversation.
Do you know what it is? Because sometimes guys don't know how to say like accept that no.
Then equally, they don't like they take the silence as the green light for some reason.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
saying that's
No,
I'm not saying that's right, but I
no,
feel
I know
like
what you mean. I know what you mean.
the best way to shut it, or a better way to shut down the conversation, would be to be like, look, I'm not interested, or better yet, you can make up a lie and just say I've got a boyfriend, or
But you know what
whatever
I'd say,
needs to be said to shut down that conversation.
Do you know what I'd say in defense of that? Not like I'm one of these guys, but I know that. Hear me out. Hear me out.
Yeah.
So when it comes to if you're talking about on a dating level, navigating that balance with women where you want to basically talk to them and you want to be able to get to have conversation with them, date them, etc. like that. You can be too much or you can be not enough. And sometimes not saying, obviously if you're saying hey, that's a clear message that you shouldn't be trying.
Yeah.
But there are going to be circumstances where more effort makes more sense, and there are going to be girls that do appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I think that when that's sort of out there as a potential for people to, let me put more effort in because I know that she'd appreciate it. Some guys take that and think that they're going to run with that rhetoric when really they should just sort of take a step back, maybe be looking at themselves, add some value to themselves before they think about putting too much out there.
It's a tricky one with dating apps because part of the problem with dating apps is because people aren't always on them, and so ostensibly, I feel like we use ostensibly like every single episode, but like ostensibly, it seems like the person, like your kind of automatic thought is that person's always on a dating app, right? And so like the automatic thought is like when you message them, they're seeing it, but they're not actually responding. When in reality, like I say, they're not always on the dating app. So rather than them actually seeing the message, they're not seeing it because they're not on the app.
Yeah.
So
do you get a lot of airtime on the dating apps and that?
Bro, like
I think it depends on which one you use, to be fair.
No, it's on all of them, to be honest.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. I'd say maybe, like, this is no exaggeration, like 95% of people who I've kind of spoken to on dating apps in the first instance, like when I've gone to speak to them the second time, you just won't hear back from them. And like I say, that's part. I think part. I mean,
I've seen that. Like when I did use dating apps, like that was why I saw that a lot on Tinder. It's just like, oh, okay, cool.
Because people just don't really invest in them, to be honest. Like they'll go on there and they'll kind of go on there like willy nilly. But I think if you really want to get something out of dating apps, like you actually have to spend a bit of time on them. But I think people just go on, they'll have like a conversation, one guy or girl, they'll kind of come off for a week or something like that, and then, you know, they'll try and have that conversation again. But imagine that example that I said earlier, where like I was having a conversation with you, I walked out for like a week, and then I came back in, like the conversation's dead after that happened.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like people don't really, again,
but you know what it is? I think it's that balance of real life and call it like a digital online life. And obviously, like you have your life where you've got your work, you've got seeing your real life friends, you've got your family, you've got all your bits and pieces that you're getting up to. If you sort of think, like let me put my phone aside for like a day, and then you come back to it, obviously there's gonna be like a lot of messages and that, but it's just finding that balance, I guess, where you gotta really, I mean, if you're talking to someone that is someone that you don't know personally, or if you're talking to someone on a more digital level, then you have to like at least like find a balance where you can actually give them what they're sort of looking for.
I'd say two things about that. So one, just from a dating perspective. So if you're trying to if you're chatting to someone, if you want to go out with them, like surely you want to make the best impression possible, right?
Yeah.
And so part of that, I think, in my opinion anyway, is like you try and have consistent dialogue with them.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I feel like even though you don't know that person, if you're looking to go out on a date with them, you'll make that effort to try and chat to them on a fairly regular basis. I'm not saying like every minute of the day, but you try and talk to them on a regular basis. The second point I was going to make is, I don't think, in fact, I know this, no one is ever too busy for things that they want to make time for.
Yeah. I do agree with that.
I don't care. I've heard like that I've been busy excuse before from a dating tip from friends as well, but I just think it takes...
My bad.
No.
I know I've said that.
Again, that wasn't a shot to you, to be fair. But I just think people will make time for the things they want to make time for.
Yeah.
And when it comes to messaging, it literally takes 2 seconds. You don't have to engage in a conversation you're having. It takes 2 seconds to be like, oh, I'm busy, or I'm doing X, Y, and Z. I'll text you later, or I'll text you tomorrow, or something like that.
Yeah.
At least then you kind of get a little bit of closure, and you know you can pick up at another stage, and it's not a problem. But I think the problem lies for me is when, bruv, if anybody wants to get me vexed, they just need to watch this episode. But like the problem lies, literally, the problem lies when I see those blue ticks, and I see that when I see those blue ticks.
Yeah, there's a podcast called Blue Ticks. You know?
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
So yeah, when I see those blue ticks, and I've seen they've obviously read the message, and yet they've still not replied. That's when I get vexed, because I'm just like, it literally takes 2 seconds to reply back to
Yeah, I hear that. But this is where you need to become disconnected from your phone, innit? And I mean, like, so I'm gonna just expose a little bit about the way that I manage my phone, innit?
All right, here we go.
And it's
oh shit.
No, do you know what it is? So like, okay, so not so much now, although I am actually getting back into that swing with it. When I was really bang on my grind, and this is not like on a dating level, this is on just like a personal level where I felt like my phone was too much for myself, and I felt like I was getting too many notifications left, right.
Some nookie combustion.
Relax, bro. It's not that kind of like blowing, like just communication from people in it. It's just like it was just going off too regular. And it's like, you know, you got your group chats, you got hundreds. You could get hundreds of messages coming in at one point, like of the day. Like something's popping off in the news, and everyone's just like bang, bang, bang. Oh, have you seen this signing's happened out in football, whatever? Like, there's so many things that will just basically like cause like a huge amount of messages to come through. So I was like, all right, cool. Group chats muted. And then conversations with people that are not really doing the same things that I'm doing at that point in time. All right, cool, muted. People that are, you know, they're friends, but they're not doing stuff that is relevant to what I'm doing, muted. These are people that like I'm close to, friends to, like family.
What I would say,
I muted my mum. I muted my mum.
I would never.
I muted my mum.
Ever.
Like,
mute Audrey.
No, but you know what it is? Because at that point in time when I was doing that, I was like, okay, look, if these people need to contact me, they'll call me. And if they call me, I will pick up the phone, because at that point I know that it's important, it's urgent. They want to speak to me. But I did mute. So
I don't advocate muting your mum, to be fair.
That's because mum.
No. I'm not even saying it because of that. Because I just. Hear me out. No, hear me out, because the message from your mum is directed at you.
Yeah.
Versus the group chats, I think it's fine to mute those, because I think in a lot of instances.
But you don't see what my mum says, innit? There's a lot of times where she says something.
She's just atting you.
She's atting me. It's just like, why you gotta send that to me for? Like I know you. Like like good morning.
Libby's, man.
No.
Wait, you muting her because she said good morning?
No, I mean like.
Richards.
I just mean that there's certain times where it's just like, I'd rather be accessible when it's very urgent, it's important. That we can have like that time of day where I allocate, and I don't mean allocate in like a real like formative.
Big time, man.
I don't mean it in like a cold.
Back in big time, Charlie over there.
It's not about big time, mate. It's like, it's just when like if you've got a lot of stuff that you need to do to like work wise, like so if I start work. And I start at like 9 o'clock, and my job requires for me to be prepared for X amount of information or whatever. Like I need to, so for my job, like I work in finance, so I need to be understanding of what's happening in the markets on the day. So before work actually starts at 9 o'clock, before then I need to be reading stuff, and I need to be paying attention to that. And that, unfortunately, that means that's a priority. So communications with people on like a leisure level, having fun, having chats and all that kind of stuff, looking at memes, I'd rather forego that stuff. I'd rather forego the hey, how are you to the end of the day. So I put on my phone, notifications are going to be muted for people where they're not working in finance. You know, it's that my mum's not working in finance. She's in a different profession. If she needs me on an urgent level, she has my telephone number, so she can call me and be like, yo, like I need you to talk to you about this. All right, cool, fine. Like then it's cool. But
so mumsy gets the do not disturb message, yeah?
A lot of people do. My nearest and dearest do. Yeah. But there's one or two, obviously, that don't have that. That mute. But
all right, that's fine. Like I get that people are busy, but I still stand by my statement in terms of it doesn't take long to send a quick message.
Yeah.
And if if for whatever reason, say for sake of argument, like you're you're going through the work day and you've just had like a really busy day. You don't get to see like any messages literally from say 9 to 5. I think after you end up seeing your messages, I think I might have hinted at it before, but like part of the problem for me is when you see that message and you act like nothing's like happened, like you haven't replied back to a message for like 8 hours or however long it's been. That's part of the problem for me as well as the time it takes to reply back to messages. The fact that there's no acknowledgement of not replying back to a message as well. Like that's a bit of a problem. But like that's me. Maybe I'm too sensitive about it, but like that
I wouldn't even say
annoys
that.
me as well.
I think that like to an extent, basically, like there are people that they're a bit selfish, innit? And yeah, so they will be like, and they'll throw it on you. Yeah, and they'll throw it back. They'll throw it back on you where it's like you might call them up and like, yo, I ain't heard from you for X amount or whatever. And they'll be like, oh, I'm busy, I'm this and that. Yeah. Some of these people, like, they're actually not busy. Yeah. Like, and I agree that like that they use it to sort of hide behind and be like, oh, it's COVID, mate.
Yeah. Like, and just to stress as well, I'm not just talking about this on a one-off basis. Like, I get
on a regular basis.
Yeah, like I totally get that people.
Who's this motherfucker?
No, man. I totally get that people won't reply back for maybe 8 hours on one day, but for it to consistently happen on a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis, that tells me, like...
Do you know what that tells me? That tells me that person has got priorities that, unfortunately, you don't fit.
Yeah, so this is what I was going to say. So this tells me, like, the way you message someone back is very indicative of how you feel about them.
Yeah.
And I know that seems like a bit of a stretch, and it might seem a bit OTT, but that's how because like I say, it's a really simple thing to let someone know, like, hey, I'm busy, like, I'll text you later, or good morning, or whatever, basically. But I just think the way you text someone tells you a lot about how they think about you.
But you know what I'd say to that? So, and I think that for me, this is like a thing where I feel that a lot of people in this day and age are selfish, you know? And I think that they're and I don't mean it's just like in terms of people that I'm not getting on with. I mean like in terms of people that I am getting on with, like friends, etc. We're in a very selfish society. Yeah. It's very self-conceited. Like we're all about ourselves. And it's like when you think about, so if you talk about communication, for example, there are people that I'm close to, and I know that I reach out to them a lot more than they may reach out to me, even though someone's just reached out to me there. Little vibration.
The irony.
The irony, yeah, right on time. In general, like I know that like there's certain people that I will reach out more to than they do to me, and for me it's like, all right, cool. I know that they do that, but I will still do it because like I want them to be in my life, and I think that it's important for me to have that relationship with them.
Do you just quickly? Do you think so? Based on that, do you think people are just not as empathetic as they were maybe back in the day, or do you think it's like the technology that is making us like less empathetic because we've got more places to ghost people and hide from people?
Yeah, I think that the world how it is now, yeah, technology makes it a lot more complex, and there's a lot more areas that people can be just basically focusing on, as opposed to focusing on like building friendships and being there for the people that they're around. Like you can effectively just be concentrating on your own life. If you're building a family, obviously you're building your career, and then like add to that, you've got your hobbies. Maybe you're trying to build something online. You're trying to make a business, and a lot of people are trying to do businesses alongside their other like their everyday 9 to 5 business, and then they've got their family to think about, and then they've got their friends to think about, and if they're in a relationship, they've got the relationship to think about. They've got children, they've got their children to think about. There's so many different elements that come with someone's life that it does get difficult to sort of fit it all in.
Yeah, I just think in this day and age, right, messaging someone is actually quite a big chunk of the communication pie.
Yeah, it is.
In fact, for me anyway, I spend, I don't know, like I maybe spend 80-90% of my communication with people is you in the chest.
Yeah, that one's a tough one. Jeez,
it's not that strong, I promise.
I feel like I just on a chest day, bro.
Oh, chest, no legs.
Hey, bro. Hey, my heart.
Sorry, I was just saying, I maybe spend like 80% of my time messaging people. So it's a big part of how I communicate with people.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example. Like my ex-girlfriend, the reason why we didn't break up was because necessarily the lack of communication, but I would say it's a big contributing factor to that, because literally I would message her, and just to state, like, we're boyfriend and girlfriend at this stage, albeit not for long, maybe a month or two into it, but I would message her on a Monday, and sometimes I wouldn't hear back from her on a Wednesday.
Oh, fuck that shit.
That's what I mean. And I just think
Fuck.
it's just really, again, it's just really, it's bizarre. It's just, and the thing is, like, I brought it up a couple of times about it. I was like, look, you're doing this, and I don't like doing it. And funnily enough, like, she brought up something that I did to her. Like, she was a little bit older than me, and I used to just joke about her being a little bit older. And as soon as she brought up the fact that she didn't like me doing that, like, I stopped it. Whereas I brought it up twice that I didn't like her replying back so flippantly with me. And she did nothing about it. And she kind of brushed it off and just said, oh yeah, all my friends say I'm a bad texter and blah, blah, blah. And, yeah, literally. And we'd meet up and it'd be fine.
Yeah.
But like I say, like, the communication via text that makes up a big part of the communication bit of things, really. So yeah, I just think it's I think people really downplay how much messaging you do and how much the communication or the kind of messaging actually forms of the overall communication with people in this day and age. So yeah, I just think people downplay the impact that it has, I suppose, is where I was going to get to, I guess. But
yeah. I mean, like, for yourself then, what would you say then is the solution to all that?
just message back. Literally, like I say, so I'm not saying I'm whiter than white than this, but I'd say 98% of the time I'll message someone back. I might not message them back on time all the time, but I'll at least message back and say, I'm busy, I'm doing something, I'll text you later. Or at the very least, if I do text them back later, I'll say, sorry for messaging back so late. And then you carry on the conversation. So like, one part of the solution is to actually, physically like message them back. And then I suppose the more extreme version, I think you kind of pointed out earlier, is to lock them off if it happens on a consistent basis. And ultimately,
get rid of that motherfucker.
Yeah, if you're not feeling that reciprocity in terms of messaging, and if it's making you feel shit, and like we said before, if we kind of see the value of someone texting you,
I think
like,
you have
to how they view you, then they're not worth your time.
I think you have to be mindful of it. I think you have to be mindful of the level that you're sort of giving in terms of effort and energy. If they are not giving you that reciprocity, so glad I was able to say that.
After a couple of
do you know what I mean? Like, certain words don't come out right when you've had a couple of drinks.
It might have come out like
You're right.
I don't know why I turned into a dog, but yeah, I was like, I'm so sorry, people.
Yeah, but so if it's not giving back in the same way that you're giving out, like, then you have to address it. And if it doesn't work out, then all right, cool, then just let that one go. If it's more long term, then obviously, like, if you've been friends with them for a while, or it's someone that's in your circles, family, whoever, like, and then there's a long-standing relationship, then have a full-on conversation about it, definitely.
So just quickly, going away from late messages, going back to ghosting. I'm gonna put you on the spot now. Have you ever ghosted anybody?
Yeah, I probably have. Yeah, I mean, like, in the dating scene, not to the degree that I've seen it done by women, to be honest. Obviously, I only see, like, do you know what? Funny thing about it, when you see these like memes and these viral posts about people being ghosted, it is always a guy getting ghosted.
Yeah,
you know, like
women do get a lot worse than men.
They have what's it called? By Felipe. You get
by Felipe. Oh, it's like by Felicia.
Yeah, it's called By Felipe.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, so basically, like, I remember I saw, like, years ago, I saw like an Instagram page, and it was like By Felipe, and it was just showing all these guys that would basically be messaging girls and then getting complete air, or they just getting like parred off. Like, they'd be like message you, hey there, beautiful, how you doing? Like just like real trying to like
But have they
smooth
had
them.
like a previous conversations that, or is that?
I
straight
mean,
off
I
the
don't know
bat?
how deep the conversation. Like
Yeah.
for some of them, like it looks like it's just the beginning of it. I mean, but like they'd show the thread of it, and it'd always be like, "Hey, how you doing? Oh yeah, nice. I love your profile. Oh, you're really beautiful." Just like scene, like double ticks or whatever. Oh, you fucking bitch! Like like you're ugly anyway, and it's just like when guys are doing that, it's like fuck's sake, like you just.
I think that there's a difference to me of some random dude just popping up in a girl's Insta DMs, saying "Hey, beautiful," and they're doing it multiple times, versus someone who they might have met on a dating app, or
But
they
I've
might have been Insta friends or something like that, and they've been having a prior message, and then all of a sudden,
I tell you what. Look. So
they get ghosted.
Let's sort of be real and frank in it. Like I feel like when I've been on the dating scene, like I've done pretty well for myself, innit? Like, why you got
cocky bastard?
Mate, pretty well. Like, there's no ego in that. I'm like, I've
You're a good-looking guy.
Good
Miguel-looking guy.
you know, I get ripped for that, innit? I feel like I need to take that.
I
back,
saw a
innit?
couple comments. I was like, "Ooh, easy, man."
Well, who else do I compare myself to? Was it Eric?
Eric who?
From Coming to America. Eric, forget.
Just let your soul glow.
I mean, let's just go back. Like, I'm Richard, isn't it? Like,
so glow. Sorry.
Completely just like throw me off what I was trying to say. What was I actually trying to say?
I don't know.
Okay, like I was saying, like, so I've had like I'd say like
Dating scene.
Yeah, so I've done quite well on the dating scene, and that's still not helped me. I've completely lost track of what I was trying to say.
That's fine. Yeah, I don't know what you were going to say, to be fair.
Help me out.
You did well on the dating scene, and did you get ghosted on the dating scene, or did you do any
Oh,
ghosting?
okay. He's helped me out here. Okay, so I feel like I've done quite well on the dating scene. But there has been times where like I've been in conversations with someone, and it's been a fantastic conversation. Looks like we're going to be dating, etc., whatever. And then out of nowhere, I've just been getting blanked.
So why do you think that is, though? Because it doesn't, the maths doesn't add up with that, does it?
It doesn't. And you know what?
And
there was a particular girl, and it's about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago now. And I remember, so we were talking, and we just got on really well, and it just seemed like, we're clicking on a lot of different levels. And we arranged to meet up or whatever, and she started to like just not respond. I was like, okay, cool. So I'm getting all these seen messages. It's like so she's reading them, but she's not replying. And then she fucking blocked me. I was like, oh, what the fuck is that?
Fam, like that happens so much on dating apps as well. For no apparent reason, you'll be chatting to someone, they'll block you on the app. I remember I had an incident where
you know what, so obviously I have like 2 profiles, and I was like, I went on the other profile. I was like, bitch. I was like, yo, why are you blocking me? What's going on?
Yeah.
What's good? Just tell me what's up. Like, you don't want to meet? Just say.
But
and then she blocked that one too.
Well, that's what I mean.
And
like,
I was like, all right, cool. So, like, all right, cool. Let me just take that as an L. But like, I took it as an L. But at the same time, I was like, yo, could you not just say like, do you know what? I wasn't really feeling it. And even though I've made out like I was really feeling it, I actually weren't feeling it.
That's what I mean. I don't know. I honestly don't know what it is. Like, to be really blunt about it, I don't know if it's like nowadays people don't have the backbone to tell someone. Real talk. I don't know if people don't have the backbone to say, look, I'm not feeling it. I'm done with this. Or if they've just got the tools in terms of technology where they can just, in this case, block you and just kind of like hide away, basically. But there's something in our society today, whether it's technology based or just empathy with another human being, but it's easy for people to just kind of ghost people nowadays.
Yeah, people are scared. People are scared, and they will revert to what's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
I'd say like in my youth, I'd be more likely to do something like that. Say today, back when I have been on a dating scene. Obviously, I'm not now, but when like I have been on a dating scene, if I was to basically try and like approach someone, like I'd just say like outright what I'm looking for, like if I'm looking for something serious or not.
Yeah.
And you know, in that you find that you will get like rejections if it's something that they don't want to do. But at the same time, it's like, that's it. That's what I want. I don't want to lead anyone. I don't want anyone to feel like I've tried to trick them or anything like that. And I think that especially if you look at the dating scene, like that is such a big problem where, obviously I know it from like a perspective of guys saying some bullshit to girls, but that a lot of guys, they do say certain things just to please the girl, just to get her to do what they want.
Yeah, sure.
And I fucking hate that shit. I feel like when it comes to like, if you are dating, if you are trying to obviously have something with someone, like just be real with what your intentions are, because as long as you both are on the same page, no one's gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
Even if they don't want to have what you have, that at least you know then that to leave them alone and go and to find someone that will have
just
what
real.
you have.
The almost the underlying point with this is to almost echo your point, is just be honest and just be real and just be transparent. Like regardless of whether you like someone or not, just as long as you do that, for me personally, like we're good. And weirdly, I think as I've gotten older, I feel like the ghosting thing has gotten worse. I don't know how that works, but it's just like we're adults. Like you would expect that it would get better.
I think that's I mean, if we're talking about on a dating level, then yeah. And I think that as we get older, like life gets busier, a lot busier as well.
Yeah. But then part of me,
that would probably be a part of it.
Yeah. But then part of me also thinks, if we are talking about from a dating tip, part of me also just thinks that probably women have had a lot of grief from, you know, guys who you were talking about earlier who just pop up in the inbox and be like, hey, gorgeous, hey, beautiful, blah, blah, blah. That they just feel like tired by, you know, always being approached by guys. And if they're not feeling it, then again, they're under no obligation to reply back to them. And why should they put into like any, albeit minimal effort? Like, why should they reply back to people?
Well, let's put the shoe on the other foot, mate. For you, have you ghosted any girls? Have you not replied when perhaps you should have replied?
I have. But
you motherfucking
yeah, I know. I have, but I would say, and this isn't to try and deflect blame or anything, I feel like I've done that because it's just gotten to the point with me where I'm so sick of girls doing it to me that I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to be a nice guy anymore. I'm going to be exactly the type of guy who is a bit of a dick, and I'm going to practice what I don't preach.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've been I've been made that way in some instances because you know me, like, you know, I'm like a good texter, and you know, I'm just like generally quite a nice guy. But
he's on point. Yeah,
but I have my limits as well. Like there's only so much I can take. Like if I feel like I'm being ghosted, or if I'm getting late replies, sometimes I'm actually going to be like, if I do get a late reply, then no, I'm not going to play ball. So for example, when that girl texts me back 9 months later.
Bro, that's because she was getting dicked out for 9 months by Tyrone. That's just...
It might have been, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I was still polite about it. But I replied back to her. I said, look, I'm tired of people like messaging late and kind of airing me, and I'm not interested. Like, she wanted to meet up for a drink. And I just said I wasn't interested because I'm just tired of people doing, like, kind of doing me wrong. But yeah, to answer your question,
doing her wrong, did she say?
Doing me wrong.
Oh right, okay. I thought she. I thought she got fucked up, but then
no. But no, to answer your question, sometimes I haven't even done that. Sometimes I haven't replied back because I'm a hypocrite. Thanks for watching 30 Years and Running. Please subscribe, comment, and share. See you next week. Peace.